Welcome back another episode. Don't forget to subscribe. In Rings of Power Season 2 Episode 5, Halls of Stone, There Are No Happy Men. It's mostly a gloomy, uneasy, and even melancholy chapter that introduces the biggest conflict the show has ever had. The Rings of Power for Dwarves. The mountains are caressed by mist when we open. Behind him, the other 6 dwarven rings murmur as King Durin dons the first one. With the insight provided by the ring, he monitors Narvi's mining endeavor. He points to a spot on the wall and says, "Everything will be well shortly." His son tells him it's a foundation wall and that Khazad-dûm's integrity might be at jeopardy, but he nonetheless gives the order to dig here. The king rejects his worries fiercely and starts hammering an axe into the wall himself. When asked to take a break, he responds, "Light, not air, is what we need." Regarding men's rings, Sauron presses Celebrimbor. Celebrimbor over in a region attributes the improbable collaboration between dwarves and elves to the rings. He continues, "Today, we embark upon a new dream, to enshrine our friendship in stone." And then Narvi shows him the unbreachable doors of Durin, the new west gate of Khazad-dûm. Silently fuming, Sauron turns to go. He murmurs, "I encouraged you to keep it short. If you have an idea in your head, you don't always listen to others." Celebrimbor believes he ought to have given Sauron credit for his diligence. Celebrimbor recognizes the game he's playing, that is, that he is attempting to persuade him to manufacture rings for men. As soon as he adds, "I find it hard to stay festive when those most affected by Mordor's rise are still suffering." Numenor is constantly teetering between glory and ruin, according to Sauron. "More than any other land in Middle-earth, Numenor terrifies me. My aim was that our rings would help her become stable." Celebrimbor is not persuaded. Sauron appears to share his belief that men are too readily corrupted. Regarding Eärendil, the elf who managed to reach Aman, he remarks, "But when darkness falls, there are always some who rise forth and shine. Captain, oh captain, my captain." The following day, Valandil and everyone else accused of being disloyal lose their rank in Irion. To be honest, Lord Belzegur intended for them to all be put on trial for treason, but this decision lets them go. Asking her father to recognize Pharazôn as his king, Irion expresses her continued anger over the death of her brother in the Southlands. "Seawater makes up your," he cautions, "be careful to keep your feet beneath you, it's a long way to the bottom." With a gesture of respect, Valandil calls everyone to attention as Elendil puts down his sword. Kemen pouts, he's no longer nobody's captain. Elendil grins to himself, then calms his fury. The audience claps and exclaims, "The valor protects him," as he leaves. Though it's excellent that he doesn't want her assistance, Irion offers to try to remove Valandil's name from the list. Disa learns of an old evil. Disa worries about Durin's ring as she gets back to Khazad-dûm. A lifetime of practice and refinement goes into developing the gift of hearing the mountains. "This seems a bit like a betrayal," she says, worried that the ring's strength would put even the most honorable dwarves to the test. "I hope your dad stays on the straight and narrow." King Durin collects envoys from the 7 dwarven lands, only to be blinded by the ring. The limbs and bones of Middle-earth are elongating and creaking, respectively. He begins, "Some dark will threatens all our kingdoms," and then he makes a promise of a new era for the dwarves, with an explanation that reads, "Power that'll change everything. 7 rings, 7 lords, and bond within each, power over earth, power over rock, power to shape the destinies of all dwarves forever." He hands over the final 6 rings. No, j.r.r is not a threat. Elrond eventually returns to Lindon and informs Gil-galad of what is going to happen as orcs appear outside of a region in the not-too-distant future. He acknowledges that Galadriel was right, but as Sauron is seen as the architect of the universe, he is hesitant to dispatch an army. Elrond cautions that the loss of a region would be catastrophic, but Gil-galad asserts that their army requires assistance. Though they won't like it, they could have an option, thank goodness. Galadriel rolls into j.r.r's camp. "I brought you here as a prospective eye, not as a prisoner." With a smile over the blazing forge, he tells her, "We have a common enemy." For more videos, subscribe.